In today's lesson, we're going to be doing some desktop publishing tricks. So first thing, open up a blank Word document. And once you have that open, I want you to type equals rand parenthesis 4, 8, parenthesis, and then enter. And you should see that random text appears. We're going to use this random text just to format. So it's just text that will allow us to put it in columns and make some changes to it. So highlight actually the first 3 paragraphs. Leave the last one not highlighted. And go to Layout, Columns, and select 3. One trick I want to show you is if you wanted to put lines in between here, we're not going to do that, but if I go to More, I can say Line Between, and you can see what that looks like. I'll undo that, but it allows you to separate columns a little bit better. The next thing is I'm going to put in column breaks so that things line up because I want each paragraph at the top. So this one, instead of, I'm not going to enter down. I don't want to do that because as I start adding more text, things will change. So instead, I'm going to do what's called a break, and we're going to do a column break. And notice before we do that, actually, I should go back. My cursor's right in front of the W because that's what I want to move to the next column. Now, when I did that, that affected this. So I'll go back to the second paragraph and same thing. I clicked in front of it and then I go up to the column breaks. Now everything's lined up. I'm going to go back to home and I'm going to turn on my paragraph marks because I want you to be able to see where those breaks are and things. And I'm going to put in some titles here. We'll just title that videos. We'll title the next one styles. And the last one, I'm just entering down for each one of these. We'll call it graphics. And I'm going to show you a trick that you can use, and some of you have used this in Excel possibly, where I'm going to bold this. Let's change the color of it, make the font a little bit bigger. Okay. And now once I've done that, I'm going to double click on this Format Painter on the home ribbon. That locks it in. So everything I highlight will change. Now I don't want to do that, so I'll Control Z that. But if I double click again, it locks it in. So now if I want to apply that same style, it'll do it for all of this. And I can click on it once more, turns it off. Okay. The next thing, I put headings in here because I want to do what's called a drop cap. And when you have column breaks, they don't work if you don't have something in front of it like this title. So I'm going to highlight the V in video. I'm going to go to Insert and then Drop Cap. And I'm just going to select the second option down. But I do want to show you when I go to the W here, if I do the same thing, I have options. I could say only 2 lines. Okay, I could also pick a different font. And I could pick how far from the text. So I'll click OK. So you can just see the difference there. I'm going to be consistent. One of our design principles is to have repetition, so have consistency. Okay, so now I've got the drop caps. Next thing I'm going to do is at the top, I'm going to actually insert some word art. So again, I stay under Insert. I'm going to go to Word Art, pick a style, and I'm going to drag it across the page here. And we're just going to title it Inserting Random Text. And we'll drag that to the top. Now, you might have problems where you want to move everything down. And if I enter down like this, notice how only that first column changed. So one of the things you can do is you can insert, again, under Layout, a break. You can do a continuous break. So I'm going to put my cursor in front of the word videos because that's the very first thing really on the page for text. And that section break is still considered 3 columns, before and after. And what this allows us to do is create one section that is 1 column and other sections that are maybe multiple columns. So I'm going to click in front of this section break. And if you can't see yours, it's because you need to turn on your paragraph marks. And what I'm going to do now is back under Layout, I'm going to change my columns to 1. And if yours is working fine without doing this, you don't have to do this step, but it just helps because now I have a little more flexibility. I can move this section break down and it moves everything then, not just the 1 column. Okay, now this text here, I can edit this under the format for drawing tools. And so I can say text fill, and maybe I want to make it the same color. Again, that's going to allow me to have some good repetition of colors. And if I wanted to do outline, I could do that. Shape fill would actually fill the background color, and I don't necessarily want to do that. So the other cool thing you can do is you have some text effects. So let's say you want to add a shadow. Okay, you have some shadow options, and then you can actually go here to make other changes to those shadow options. So if I wanted it to be a different colored shadow or something like that, I can change that. And I can also change like the distance of how far away it's more noticeable, change the angle of it, depending on what direction I want that to come from. So lots of changes if you go under those options for text effects, and really all of these have multiple options. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create we're going to put an image in, and we're going to have it appear in the back, kind of like a watermark. So you maybe have done a watermark before where you inserted text. We're going to do it in kind of a roundabout way. So we're going to insert a picture. So we're just going to insert, and we'll go to online pictures. And I'm just going to search for something related to computers. See what we can find. So I want to get more of a photo than a, actually this one will work. We'll click this one. We're going to insert it. Okay, so it appears here. We're going to change the color then. And I want to pick this one here where it's kind of recolored, a little bit lighter. And then to send it to the back, I'm going to click on this right here. And I want to pick the option that's going to send it behind the text. Okay. And then I can make this bigger. So it's kind of this watermark image behind everything. Last thing I want to show you is putting in a text box. And I purposely clicked off of that image because if I try to insert the text box with that image selected, it will cover up, or get rid of, I should say, that image. So I'm going to go to Insert, and then I'm going to find where it says text box. And you have lots of really cool design styles, or you can just draw a text box. So I'm going to just click on Draw Text Box, and we'll draw one in here. And main things I want to show you, one is you want to wrap that. So wrap the text around it so now we can see everything. It's not sitting on top of it. The other is to fill it. Now this is a weird thing in this version of Word, and hopefully they fix it in newer versions. But if I try to fill it using this tool on the home ribbon, it doesn't fill all the way. But if I use the same little paint bucket under drawing tools with shape fill, it fills all the way to the edge. So just note that you need to be under drawing tools to do the shape fill. Same thing with outline. I could say no outline, and then I can start putting text, and I don't care, you can just put random text in here. And now you have, if I zoom out, a nicely designed image. Now, obviously I have some text moving down to the bottom here. I'm not worried about that right now. If I wanted to later on, I could change. Again, under layout, I could do some margin changes. So if I felt like, hey, I want to have less top and bottom margins, try to fit all of this on one page, I could make that change. But for this purpose, we're going to stop there.